Have you ever wondered what it takes to get booked at the House of Blues? Well, if you have, then you don't want to miss this episode with Ben Weeden, COO of Live Nation's Club and Theater Division and the House of Blues. We sit down and discuss the House of Blues booking policy for new and up-and-coming bands, as well as the most valuable and strategic steps that you need to be taking to get on the booking agent's radar. This is really one episode you can't afford to miss. Coming up. This episode of the MUBUTV Insider video series is brought to you by the Music Business Registry. The Music Business Registry is the leading music industry publisher of the most up-to-date contact information for major and independent record label A&R, music publishers, artist managers, music attorneys, music supervisors, and much, much more. The Music Business Registry is the trusted industry standard and source serving the music business community for over 30 years with the most accurate and up-to-date contact information available. Their titles include the A&R Registry, the Film and Television Music Guide, the Music Publisher Registry, and the Music Attorney Registry. All of their publications are available in PDF, CSV, or online subscription. Visit musicregistry.com and use coupon code MUBUTV10 at checkout. That's musicregistry.com, coupon code MUBUTV10. When you're ready to put your music to work, musicregistry.com. All right, so we're back here at the second annual Global Rock Summit here at the Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood, California. And we managed to catch up with Ben Weeden, who is the COO of the House of Blues. And he's also a panelist here at Global Rock Summit. Thanks so much for joining us, Ben.
My pleasure.
How's the summit been for you so far? I know you just got done speaking. How did that go?
So far, so good. I'm surprised that there are that many people up at 9 in the morning.
For a rock thing of all things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My first question to you, Ben, is the last 10 years has seen like a massive sea change within the music industry, as you know. One of the few areas that has seen live growth is the live sector. Like live music still seems to be thriving. And I was just curious from your perspective as the CEO of House of Blues, you guys are like one of the leading venues across the country. Is live music in a really healthy place today?
Yeah. And actually, we're called House of Blues Entertainment, but we're actually Live Nation's Theater and Club Division. So, we've got 12 House of Blueses, we've got 7 Fillmores, and then we've got another 70 venues around the country that we own or operate, like the Palladium in LA, the Wiltern, Irving Plaza in New York. So it's actually been really eye-opening. We were everywhere from 200 cap clubs to 4,000 cap ballrooms. And we do 8,000 shows a year. So, seeing the amount of shows, the amount of bands touring, it's obviously a lot greater than it's been in the past because it needs to be for the bands to earn a living.
Yeah, you're right. And I wanted to ask you, Live Nation, which you just mentioned, purchased House of Blues a few years back. I'm curious, do you guys maintain like kind of complete autonomy as a separate brand within the corporate structure of Live Nation?
Yes. So the House of Blues brand, the 12 venues that we have out there, right? We run them, within the theater and club division. Okay. So ultimately, we all report up into the corporate structure, but the House of Blues as a brand even within our theater and club division, right, has a different mission, right? You have the special events component, the restaurant component, the foundation room component to it as well. So it's our biggest brand, and if we go to expand it internationally, which we are, that's the brand that we take international. We've got a ton of local brands which are great for those local markets, whether you're in Louisville or Los Angeles or Charlotte. But again, we have a significant amount of the venues, which gives us insight into really what's going on, in rock, in EDM, in hip hop, in all genres.
Yeah. Can you speak a little bit about that? You mentioned about the international aspect. So you guys are planning to expand into international markets with House of Blues?
Yeah. So, we are, recently hired an international consultant, and the plan is to, look into, we did a deep dive into a brand study, into market studies, and the plan is, whether it's, franchising, management, self-operating, where Live Nation actually, has an office, right? That, we expect over the next 5 years that, we're going to have a significant footprint around the world.
That's awesome. For our audience of performing artists, MUBUTV is comprised of musicians, people that want to get into the business side of the industry. Watching this, they see House of Blues as obviously a very fertile ground for up and coming acts of all kinds. Does House of Blues have a philosophy regarding local bands? And if so, can you elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, local bands are a massive part of our business, right? So if you just take away the other venues and just look at House of Blues for the purposes of this discussion, 8 out of the 12 of them have a small room. Right? 200 cap room, 300 cap room. From a business perspective, local bands, are incredibly important because they obviously have a strong local following, right? So we're able to put the bands on our stages, help market those bands, and they're able to bring in their fans, which, if I put my finance hat on or my operations hat on, right? It helps us sell beer, right? And we help the band sell the ticket. So it's extremely important. And also because, across the country, we've got 30 to 40 promoters, right? Those are the guys that are telling us, hey, in Cleveland, this is what's happening with this band, right? In Dallas or in Houston or in Boston or in Myrtle Beach, Orlando, whatever, right? This is what's going on with these bands. And so it's you have your own built-in A&R already. So, when we hear about certain bands that are starting to gather steam, right? We're able to have those discussions on our talent calls about, hey, do you know this band? No, I don't, but okay, they're worth 350 tickets. They've sold out my small room in Houston. Yeah, okay, all right, so let's go. Can they play Dallas next week and New Orleans? And can they start expanding the circuit that they're in right now?
And do you even try to even see, for instance, even getting them in front of one of the main rooms with?
Yeah, look, yeah, in an ideal world, you would love to be able to program the first of 3 slots, right? It doesn't always happen. What we do find actually is, maybe the show's not selling as well as you would want in the main room. And we immediately go, hey, look, we need permission. We got to bring in a local band that's going to bring in, their fans, right? That's going to help the overall vibe of the show and ideally introduce those fans to, to the headliner that, they might not have gone and seen.
Yeah. And that actually lead me to my next question, which you had already touched on. So does each House of Blues, you said, has their own in-house promoter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, we're fully staffed locally. I mean, the club business is a local business, right? It's a high touch, high volume business. You have to know who your fans are. You have to know who your customer is, right? Aside from maybe the more tourist-driven locations like in Anaheim at Disneyland or Orlando or Las Vegas, but it doesn't really matter. Each venue has a promoter who's, their job, his or her job is to book 150 shows in the main room. And then we've got, really our bench strength, right? Or the younger promoters that are coming up under the main talent buyer. And their job is to book those small rooms. So we've actually have 2 people in each location that are focused 100% on talent. We've obviously got a show marketer there, production, ops, box office. It's all a self-contained venue. From my perspective, the talent side, again, going back to the A&R, that's the most important, right? It's all based on relationships, and it's all based on these people to be able to go, hey, this band is worth 1,000 tickets at $25, right? It's one of those where, you need your 10,000 hours of booking to really know what your market can sustain, especially when it's really competitive, right? And everyone's throwing money at the band. So, but that's a long way of saying, yeah, we've got promoters, at least 2 promoters in every market that we're in.
That's unbelievable. That's great. And then the next question is, acts that are obviously looking to get booked at House of Blues venue in their local area or region, where does an act need to be in their trajectory of their career in order to, obviously the obvious of needing a following and stuff like that, but where do they need to be? So
in all of the House of Blues, we do what's called, House of Blues Rocks, right? So House of Blues Orlando Rocks, and that's really, if a band can sell 50 tickets, right? Or a band can sell 200 tickets. We try what we try and do is we try and do 4 or 5 bands in one night, right? So, you've got the more established local bands that can bring in, 300 or 400 people. And then you've got the up and coming bands that, are young guy or girl in that market goes, we got to keep an eye on this band, right? Because they're the ones that are listening to it locally, even if you're only worth 50 tickets, right? All of these bands at some point, whether you're the Imagine Dragons, Alt J, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. At some point, you are worth 50 tickets, right? So and you got to have somebody that's your champion, that believes in you, and that and that's so it doesn't. We try and have these local nights at least once a week, right? At least once a week. If it's in the small room, great. If they can graduate to the big room, even better. Right. But that's part of our job locally.
Great. What are some proactive steps that acts should be doing to get on the House of Bookings agents' radar?
So from a local standpoint, right? It's a grind. We all know it's a grind, right? You've got to play, whether it's for 50 people at the House of Blues or 50 people at, the local bar down the street, right? From a marketing standpoint, to market yourself. And let's assume for a second you don't have, a big time agent or a big time manager, right? You're really starting out. It really is about getting in front of as many people as possible, obviously without overplaying. I kind of look at it as concentric circles, right? If you're in Houston, right, where else can you be playing in and around Houston and slowly grow that fan base, right? Exactly. But it comes down to the music. Right. It comes down to what, frankly, your product. Right. And so, rather than nowadays trying to put out an album, right? You just, you continue to put out, a single, more and more content, right? More and more content that, maybe it's not just music, but something that's engaging with your fans, right? It's because you got to grow that base. And it all, unless you've got that hit that all of a sudden transcends everything, right? You're grinding it out locally and trying to get that kind of that radius. Right. Slowly bigger and bigger and bigger. So now it's not just Houston, it's Houston and Corpus Christi, or it's Houston, Corpus Christi, and El Paso, right? That kind of, that type of growth where, all of a sudden, you got more and more people talking about you, talking to your friends about you. And that's the organic growth that the bands need at that stage.
Great stuff coming from Ben, who works for the House of Blues, the leading promoters of live talent in the world. So insiders, question of the day. What really stood out to you in the conversation with Ben? Was it House of Blues' philosophy towards booking local talent? Or was it where an act needs to be in order to get booked at the House of Blues? Or was it the proactive steps you need to be taking to get on the radar of booking agents from the House of Blues? Or maybe it was something else that connected with you. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to MUBUTV for more information on how to educate, empower, and engage your music career. You can also check out a summary of this episode and everything we talked about in the description below as well. And if you enjoyed this video, we'd really love it if you hit the like button and let us know what other kinds of videos and types of content you would want to see on our channel. Hit us up in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.